फैज़ अहमद फैज़ said, दिल नाउम्मीद तो नहीं नाकाम ही तो है, लंबी है गम की शाम पर शाम ही तो है। जी अगर मुझे मौका मिलेगा तो मैं ज़रूर इलॉन मस्क के साथ डिनर करना चाहूँगा। You spend a lot of time in the kitchen and you take 2 hours to cook and people eat it in 20 minutes and it's all over, okay?
अस्सलाम वालेकुम, आदाब। मैं हूँ नाज़िया और आप देख रहे हैं शो सैटरडे ब्रांच। कल इस शो में हम आपकी मुलाकात करवाते हैं इंस्पायरिंग पर्सनालिटीज से। तो आज हम आपकी जिनसे मुलाकात करवा रहे हैं ये अपने आप में एक इंस्टीट्यूशन है। बैंकिंग फील्ड में इन्होंने एक्सेल किया और अगर मैं कहूँ कि ये ट्रू लीडर है तो कहना बिल्कुल भी गलत नहीं होगा। वेल, ही इज़ एन वर्सेटाइल पर्सनालिटी, इंट्यूटिव पर्सन एंड ब्रिलियंट पर्सन। आज हम आपको मिलवा रहे हैं एग्जीक्यूटिव जनरल मैनेजर ऑफ कमर्शियल बैंक, नन अदर देन वन एंड ओनली मिस्टर राजू बुद्धिराजू जी से। हेलो एंड वेलकम ऑन FM 107। आई होप आप खैरियत से हैं।
Thank you very much and it's my pleasure to be here with you.
प्लेजर सर। सो लेट वी स्टार्ट नोइंग यू। आप अपने बारे में थोड़ा सा कुछ बताइए कि आप कहाँ से ताल्लुक़ है आपका, आपकी फैमिली बैकग्राउंड के बारे में हमें कुछ बताइए।
So I come from India. I've been mostly brought up in the north. So I used to be in Delhi and then Banaras. And in later part of the year I studied in Calcutta. And after that I've been only working in a bank. I started in 1989, so it's almost like 34 years of banking.
Great. So what actually motivated you to pursue your career in banking?
You know, I always wanted to be in an area where I get enough freedom to do my own thing. So after I finished my post-graduation, I started working in a bank, a foreign bank, and in those days, foreign banks used to train you up very fast. They used to pay well, and they used to give you a lot of flexibility and empowerment to do a lot of things. So it was a very nice, challenging environment for young people who were coming out of the college. It used to be quite an aspirational job, and I was lucky to get it, so I started with banking. And once I came in, you know, once you come into a job, you realize that it's not exactly the way you had imagined it. Okay. So once I came in and I started looking at various parts of the bank, and I started getting more and more interested and really got more and more committed to it over a period of time. I've been working, as I said, for the last almost 33 years.
Wow, yeah. Great, with such an extensive experience. And being a leader, how do you keep yourself motivated and also your team in order to navigate the challenges?
You know, a lot of motivation comes from within. Okay? But it's also a lot of motivation is from the environment and the people you work with. Okay? So it's important to have an environment which is constantly trying to do new things, respond to challenges, compete with various other banks as competition, and try to do new innovative things. I think this keeps the innovation going and it keeps the motivation going, because if you are not challenged by these things, then your motivation runs out of steam. Okay? And when you are in this proper environment and you are trying to compete with other banks and you are trying to constantly be one step ahead of others and try to bring in a lot of innovation, it keeps you motivated and keep you going all the time.
Very well said. Well, sir, what is that one thing you find interesting about banking sector?
I consider banking to be serving a larger purpose of meeting aspirations of different people. For example, if an individual wants to buy a house, for example, in the Pearl or in Al Sadd or someplace, the banks help find the financial resources to make it happen. Similarly, for large companies who want to expand or they want to go into different countries, we are able to provide the financing through structuring, which possibly is very difficult for the customer on their own resources. So we make the whole resources happen in such a way that people are able to realize their dreams and their dream projects.
Good, very well said, sir. So how do you see the banking sector, in the times to come, let's say 10 years, how do you see the sector? And if somebody wanted to pursue the career in the same field, what advice would you like to give to them? And specifically, we talk about Qatar.
You know, Bill Gates in one of the conferences said, it is very clear that banking is needed, but the key question is, are banks are needed? Okay? Are banks needed? You know, people have to do their financial transactions in one way or another. And nowadays, there are a lot of fintechs who are trying to do their transactions more efficiently. So the banking will evolve as time passes. And it has already gone through monumental changes in the last few years. With technology coming in and digitization going on, it is changing its shape and form. But the basic structure of a financial transaction remains intact. Okay? And I see banking to be one of the most dynamic areas which are going to change with technology going into the future. It's going to become a lot more convenient, a lot more fraud-free, and a lot more secure to do financial transactions. My advice to people who are coming into banking is that they should come with an open mind and with a certain skill set. Okay, one of the skill set is digital collaboration. Okay, so a lot of people nowadays have digital literacy, but digital collaboration means how all of us can work together on a digital platform and make things happen. Okay, this is like teamwork over digitization. This is a very important kind of a skill. They should come with ability to adapt because nowadays things are changing so fast and the pace of change is so high that you really need to adapt very fast. Okay?
Right.
So with artificial intelligence and other things that are coming on very fast, okay, many of the structured jobs are going to be done by machines. So it's very important that you develop a skill set where you can handle various unstructured solutions and provide solutions to various customers.
अगर टीम में आपको देखना है that you have to go to one team, तो आप क्या प्रेफर करेंगे, हार्ड वर्किंग टीम या ऑनेस्ट टीम?
I don't think that they are mutually exclusive. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप हार्ड वर्किंग हैं तो आप ऑनेस्ट नहीं हो सकते. Okay? So ये जो स्किल्स हैं, इनमें से बहुत से स्किल्स तो ऐसे हैं जो आपके पास होने ही चाहिए. Okay? So honesty is a given. Honesty is something that you cannot negotiate with.
Right.
Okay? There are so many other things where others can pitch in and they can support you. Honesty is a non-negotiable item when it comes to financial transactions. So that means you'll go with honesty. You'll go with honesty and you try to develop all other skills around it. Actually.
Very well said. Very well said. It's a beautiful answer. Okay, since you've been here into this, what you wanted to do in order to, let this sector grow and at the same time your personal growth?
So the sector is growing very, very fast. Okay. So if you look at Qatar, for example, if you see some of the important projects that are happening here, so there is an NFE, North Field expansion, where Qatar is expanding its gas production capacity from 77 million tons per annum to 110 million tons per annum, and followed by a North Field South project, which is going to expand the capacity to 126 million tons. So it doesn't matter where the oil and gas price are. Qatar is going to be a very prosperous country in a few years from now. It's already a very prosperous country, and it is going to continue to generate wealth going into the future. That bodes well for all those people who are looking for careers in this country. Okay. And I think you will agree, the country went through a very difficult time of blockade and then followed by COVID, which was a worldwide phenomenon.
Right.
And it has handled all these with grace and dignity. And it also organized World Cup. And several people say that it was the best World Cup ever organized.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
A survey shows that 9 out of 10 people who came here say that they want to visit Qatar again.
Yes.
Okay. So if you put all these pieces together, I think Qatar provides enough opportunities, okay, for many of the youngsters to actually have thriving careers here. Okay. It's also becoming a knowledge-based economy. It's going to be having food security. So I think with the technology coming in, Qatar will provide many careers, okay, and a very good work-life balance in this country. And therefore, I look forward to staying in Qatar. I've already been here for 11 and a half years. Okay, I enjoy every minute of it. And I think that it's going to be one of the few countries that is ready for the future. So I look forward to being in Qatar. And I look forward to being associated with the financial sector as it evolves. Okay? And with all the fintechs coming in, the banks are trying to work together with fintech. Okay, and new paradigms of financial sector are emerging, and we think that it's a very exciting journey, and it will provide very thriving careers to many people here.
किसी बिजनेस टाइकून के साथ डिनर करने का, सो किसके साथ आप करना चाहेंगे और क्यों?
जी, अगर मुझे मौका मिलेगा तो मैं जरूर इलॉन मस्क के साथ डिनर करना चाहूँगा. Okay. So I know some of the things that he says may not be the corporate right speak, but I think if you look around, he is one of the most innovative people, I feel, and I think I would thoroughly enjoy this particular dinner because he speaks his mind. He has a long track record of doing innovation. Okay, he's also pushing the boundaries of human mind by going into space. He's now talking about putting computer chips into the human mind. Yeah. Now, while ethically we can all discuss as to whether it is right or wrong, but if you take the value judgment out of it, I think he pushes the boundaries when it comes to innovation. I can relate to it, and I look forward to this dinner.
So you are somebody who loves the innovation, and it sounds as if you are yourself very creative. So are you one who loves to cook also?
It's a very good question.
Okay.
Hopefully once my intensity in the corporate life reduces, I would definitely go into cooking, because I think cooking is possibly one of the most creative processes, okay? And the amount of innovation that you can do is unlimited. I'm not a big fan of the traditional forms of cooking, where you spend a lot of time in the kitchen and you take 2 hours to cook and people eat it in 20 minutes and it's all over. Okay, I like the Japanese form of cooking, where you have the whole cooking place right in the center of the room and it's not facing a wall, and then the people are sitting around you, because the cooking process is as innovative as the outcome. Very well. So I think it gives expression to a lot of your creativity when it comes to cooking. And the patience also. This is a great question that I've heard in a long time.
बहुत अच्छा लगा सर आपसे बात करके. You have given us time. आपने अपना टाइम निकाला, हमसे बात की, हमारे लिसनर्स से बातचीत की. जाने से पहले FM 107 के लिसनर्स के लिए आपका मैसेज.
So my message to your listeners would be that, there are good times and bad times in life. It's also true in professional life. In a long life of so many years, it's naive to expect that you will only have good times. So you have good and bad times. I think most of us can handle the good times well. Okay, I mean, we become generous, magnanimous, maybe a little arrogant as well during good times. But I think it is the adversity that builds the character. So we should be cognizant of this fact, and we need to maintain a balance, and we should be able to come out of those bad times. Okay. And it's very important in a professional as well as in a professional career. So when you're feeling down, you should still be able to harness your resources, okay? And try to learn from that particular piece and bounce back, because the good and bad times kind of alternate, okay? It's expressed by many people. Shelley, in a poem called Ode to the West Wind, wrote, "If winter comes, can spring be far behind?" Okay. So winter is normally symbolic of tough and challenging times in Europe, whereas summer is when all the trees are resplendent, they're doing so well. So the spirits are up in summer. So when he says, "If winter comes, can spring be far behind?" it's like a dose of optimism. Possibly for your Urdu listeners, similar things have been said by many poets. And Faiz Ahmad Faiz said, "Dil naumid to nahi, naakaam hi to hai, lambi hai gam ki sham, par sham hi to hai." Which roughly translates to saying, just because the heart is helpless doesn't mean that it's hopeless. And even though the grief-stricken evening is long, after all, it's only an evening, which basically indicates the promise of a new day.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an insightful interview. Thank you.
My pleasure. So much.